Alright, here are my thoughts on the 1954 animated film Animal Farm. Based on the famous book by George Orwell, probably his second most famous work next to 1984. So, this is pretty much a story teaching the evils of communism. And yeah, it kind of shows a process that seems quite similar to what happened in with the Soviet Union. So yeah, so it takes place on a farm. It's the farm's going through hard times. The farmer is a drunk and abuses all the animals, and yeah, he's just a horrible person. And then, yeah, their elder pig creates a new revolution, if you will. And, they start, or yeah, he dies while, while making his speech to them and stuff. So, yeah, then they start an uprising, and they defeat the farmer. And then the farmer brings in a whole bunch of other farmers, and, the animals chase them away. So yeah, they basically appoint a pig named Snowball as their new leader. But there's another pig named Napoleon who's like working behind his back. And, while Snowball is overall making things better for the newly named Animal Farm, Napoleon is kind of planting his own little seeds. Like he takes in these orphan puppies whose mother got killed in the uprising. So yeah, he takes them in, turns them into vicious guard dogs, if you will. And then he basically overthrows Snowball. He sends the dogs after him, and yeah, he gets killed. And then, yeah, Napoleon starts, Napoleon becomes the new leader, and yeah, basically he drives the farm to hell. There's all these rules that Snowball set for the farms, these reasonable rules. But yeah, Napoleon's like gradually changing them. And things just get worse and worse, and then, yeah, years later, the farm is pretty much even worse than it was at the beginning. So yeah, this donkey named Benjamin leads a new uprising against Napoleon, and that's the abridged story. There's also other little subplots. There is a pretty important death partway through of a horse named Boxer. There's all these little details, but they all amount to something. But yeah, I think this was a pretty good movie. I know they changed the ending a bit to try and give it a happy ending, but regardless, I think it was a satisfying experience, and you can tell who at least the main pig characters represent. Like the elder pig who dies, he represents Karl Marx and I guess Vladimir Lenin. Snowball kind of represents Lenin and Trotsky, and then Napoleon is obviously Stalin. And he also has a right-hand pig, if you will, named Squealer. I don't know who he represents, but I guess it's based on an assistant of Stalin's. I don't know. Obviously, I can't go too into detail with communism because I probably didn't even know much about it when I was talking about it in my new Gulliver review. But yeah, I consider this movie kind of the response to that one. Um, um, well, the animation is quite good. For the most part, it does kind of rival Disney. For the most part, okay, I wouldn't say it's as good as Disney, but it's all reasonably good. Although there are some parts where I noticed some like animation goofs. Once again, there are characters that like pop out of frame suddenly, and then also there's this there's this shot where Napoleon suddenly kind of has a bit of a spasm. He goes back into a position he was in a moment ago, where like, I don't know, he's like making a gesture, and then he faces the camera, and then suddenly, there's just a sudden frame where he's back in that position with the gesture. I forget the exact details, but yeah, it was pretty noticeable, and yeah, so the animation in this movie isn't perfect. It's okay, so I wouldn't say it's Disney level, but I think it's good for what it is. In a way, this did kind of feel like a Disney movie for adults. Definitely not what I would consider a kids movie. There is some blood in this, and yeah, the blood can get a little, maybe not quite for the squeamish. You see the horse named Boxer get like shot in the leg, and then a little earlier in the movie, Napoleon has these animals executed, and then he writes one of the rules on the board is no animals should kill other animals, and Napoleon adds in the executed animal's blood without good cause. So yeah, it's disturbing, but yeah, obviously this isn't going to be Watership Down level. Can't wait till I get to that one. This does kind of seem like an early prototype for movies like Watership Down and maybe like half of the Ralph Bakshi movies. It does kind of seem like it belongs in the 70s. So yeah, you might say this movie's kind of ahead of its time. Is there anything else I should talk about? Because, I think this movie kind of speaks for itself. I can't think of anything at the moment. Well, one thing worth noting is, so, the animals, even the better ones, do kind of have like this attitude against humans in general. One of the most notable quotes in this movie is, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. But, it also shows that there are some good human farmers out there. So, yeah, it doesn't necessarily... I think it does kind of set this little message that, the animals aren't completely in the right. The animals aren't perfect and the humans are not inherently terrible. It's just that some of them, like the farmer they had to deal with, can be pretty nasty. Some of them. And yeah, obviously that can apply to a lot of people in this day and age who are kind of demonized by marginalized groups. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, like, in conjunction with what's going on today. And yeah, I do have a lot of concerns about a lot of movements going on today. A lot of them I see as potentially good, or I see the good in them, but at the same time I see where they can become really destructive. And yeah, yeah, a lot. There's a lot to like debate about this movie. This is probably the most complex movie I've looked at so far. At least, or yeah, for my animated movie review series. But yeah, I think that's what makes it so unique. It's yeah, what makes it stand out from all the other movies I've looked at. Yeah, there's just a lot to discuss. A lot of a lot of things to discuss in terms of like what happened in the past as well as what's still happening today. And yeah, you can say Donald Trump is kind of our current Farmer Jones, although yeah, there's but yeah, if he's the Farmer Jones, then who's the Napoleon, if you will? I don't want to go too far into politics, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. If I have anything else to say, as usual, I'll post them in the comments. So yeah. Overall, for any animation or political commentary fan or, anyone who's interested in these things, yeah, definitely check this movie out. I give it an 8 out of 10. And yeah, good movie. So that's about it. Mash it and smash it, signing off.